Yep.
Okay. I'd like to call the Town of Clinton Planning Board meeting to order at 7:31 on Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. Due to COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspending the open meetings law and emergency state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings. The Town of Clinton Planning Board, scheduled for December 1st, 2020, will be held electronically via Zoom instead of a public meeting open to the public to attend in person. Members of the public may view the board meeting as it is live streamed on YouTube, www.townofclinton.com/government/planning-board-videos/. A transcript of the meeting will be posted on the town's website at a later date. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing for the Murray site plan for ground mount SES. Is anybody here for that? Is the applicant here?
Everybody's in the waiting room. Do you want me to let everyone in?
Yeah, just let them in.
All right. It's too late. They're all coming in.
Okay.
It's all right. They'll be quiet.
Okay. First item on the agenda, as I said, is the public hearing for the Murray site plan for ground mount SES. Is anybody here for that? For the Murray site plan, is somebody here?
She's here. I think she must be muted. She's talking and there she is.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Laura
okay.
Lee Reedy here.
That's okay. Can we have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
I make a motion, we open the public hearing.
Justin, second.
Tracy.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Can you please state your name again for us?
Hi, yes, I'm Laura Lee Reedy with Sun Common.
Okay, and can you briefly explain what you're doing? If there are any members in the waiting room here from the public who are interested in this, please wait till the applicant is finished. And if you have any comments or questions, please state your name, your address, and talk to us. Okay, you're all set. Laura Lee, go ahead.
All right, thanks so much. Yes, so my name is Laura Lee Reedy. I work with Sun Common. We are a solar company based out of Rhinebeck, New York. We are requesting permission to install a small ground-mounted solar array. This in your solar zoning law is classified as a tier 2, as a small ground mount to generate electricity to offset the usage of a residence. The setback laws in the town are 20 feet and 50 feet, and we are, well within those setbacks. We are actually set back from the front of the parcel 663 feet, from the sides 562 and 538 feet, and then from the rear 784 feet. So we are, within the required setbacks.
I have to go because you're on a delay. I'm hearing this first.
Who's that? Can you unmute whoever is not talking, please?
I'm sorry, I'll mute it.
Okay, sure. So, yep. So Max height of this system is going to be 8 feet. Your solar zoning law requires it'd be less than 15 feet. So we're also well within that requirement. This is on a 48.8 acre parcel. So this is a very small array going within that large parcel. Since the system is set so far back, it will not be visible from any neighboring properties. It's also well screened as there's a lot of forest around this array to hide it and make it not visible from the road or from the neighboring parcels at all. This is also would be classified as a type 2 action under seeker in 617.5C part 12 as a minor accessory structure on a residential property. So yeah, if there are any questions, we're happy to answer.
Are there any questions from the public on this application? Okay, I'll ask one more time. Any questions from the public on this application?
Just to reiterate, because I just saw this for the first time, we live immediately adjacent. So it sounds like you will not be able to see it from any of the neighboring properties.
That is correct. That is correct.
You are who?
My name is Mitchell and we live at 254 Zipfeldberg Road. So just immediately adjacent. Yeah, our only concern, and I was only emailed this about a half an hour ago, thank you so much, was, their property is set on top of a big ridge, and something that is visible there is visible for miles if it's not well surrounded or well hidden, so to speak. So it looks like it is from what you're describing, which sounds nice.
Yes, it is well hidden within the natural forest that is growing on this parcel. So it's right in the middle of that. So it's not exposed on any side of the array. So it should be, well hidden from all neighboring parcels and from the roadway.
And it's only about 8 feet high, you said, off the ground?
Yep, that's correct. Yep, it's a small ground mounted solar array. So it's not a top of pole system or a canopy. It's just on a small rack. So it's maximum of 8 feet high.
Okay, how big of an area did they clear around it? It looks pretty large.
It's not more than an acre as far as I know. That was, it's less than, an acre of the size of the array. It's pretty small in comparison to the 48 acre parcel.
Okay, that's great. I mean, yeah, we just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be visible because, their house is on top of a ridge. It's quite large and is visible for miles, and wanted to make sure the array was not similarly visible for miles.
Absolutely should not be. So.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, are there any other questions from the public on this application? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion, we close the public hearing. Tracy?
Second, Jack.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Tracy.
Justin, I.
Gary, aye.
Okay, so moved.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next public hearing, and Laura Lee, we'll see you back in a little bit, okay?
Thank you.
And thank you, sir, for coming in.
Excuse me. This is Jeff Irish. I'm the engineer of record on the project. At the application meeting last time, we did not make a seeker determination. I was wondering if you could consider voting on this being a type 2 action under seeker. Just interested in clearing the way for the permit.
Who is this?
This is Jeff Irish. I'm the engineer on the project. I stamped the drawings.
We're going to come back and do that after the other public hearing.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just stay on and wait
You
for
just
that.
stay on and wait. We've got another public hearing to go, and then we come up afterwards in the agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is PCDE family wetlands permit, public hearing on that application. Is there anyone here for that?
Yes.
Doug Larson and Jacob Harden.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I move to open the public hearing.
In here, we got Jacob is in and,
And Doug Larson.
okay, good. All right. If you'll explain what you're doing, and then we'll take questions from the public if there are any.
Art,
Do you have a motion?
Art,
Yes.
I was just gonna say, I'll move to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Second, Tracy.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Jack, aye.
Justin, aye.
Aye.
Tracy, I.
Okay.
Sarah, aye.
Hearing is open. Okay. Okay, guys.
Okay, so this is a rather large parcel on East Meadowbrook Lane. And the owners have purchased this about a year ago, and they would like to renovate a farmhouse, which is a portion of which is within the wetlands buffer. So we're applying to renovate and do a slight addition in the wetlands buffer. There is also a little bit of trenching that has to happen to replace the septic system for a structure that's also in the wetlands buffer. So it's a very narrow section of trenching. And we would also like to relocate a shed out of the wetlands buffer. So 3 actions in the wetlands buffer. We've already applied to the state DEC. So that application is in, and there's a copy of it included in the paperwork here. And we had talked to the town engineer, Peter Sotero, who suggested that we come to you, which we have twice, and go to a public hearing, and in the hopes that we could get a conditional approval on the work we're proposing pending DEC approval.
Okay, is there anyone from the public who would like to ask questions of the applicant? If there is, please state your name and your address, and then go ahead and ask your question. Okay, I'll ask one more time. Is there anybody from the public who would like to ask any questions on this application?
I don't think there's anybody for here.
BCDE?
No, I didn't get anybody for here.
Okay. Can we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Close the public hearing, Jerry.
Second, Justin.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Art, aye.
Jack,
Aye.
aye.
Tracy, I.
Jerry,
Okay, so moved. Okay, gentlemen, we're gonna bring you back in a little bit, okay? So, got a couple other things we gotta do. And then we'll bring you back for the demo plan and for your wetlands permit, okay?
Great, thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Hanson sign permit. Is there anybody here for that application?
Yes, my name is Michael Hansen.
Hello, Michael, how are you?
Oh, surviving.
Okay. Can you let us know what you're doing here?
Yes, I actually did not know I needed a sign permit. I put this sign up, I guess, about 7 years ago or so. And I just recently got a notice from the department saying that I needed a sign permit for it. And they gave me, measurements that I had to be a certain amount of feet away from the road. They said 4 feet, and I'm actually, I thought it went to the white line, but I was told it's from the blacktop, and I'm 4.5 feet from that. And I don't block anybody's view coming out of my neighbor's driveway or mine. As soon as I actually took my car into my neighbor's driveway at 23:05, and between 10 and 15 feet away from the road, the sign does not block the road at all. And the closer you get to the road, the more you see of the road. The sign only blocks if you're about 15 to 20 feet before you come out of the driveway. And so I just wanted to make it legal now that I knew about it, and take out a sign permit for it.
Okay. Jack?
Yeah, that's very helpful, Mr. Hanson. I'm not sure I follow exactly. Are you proposing to move the sign or leave it where it is?
No, I was figuring to leave it where it is because it is not blocking. As I said, as soon as you get about 10 feet from my neighbor's driveway, when you get about 10 feet away from the road, the sign does not block your view of the road at all for oncoming traffic.
The problem is that the zoning enforcement officer has made a determination that it does block the sight distance. I went out and looked at it and I saw that it was a little over 4 feet from that white line on Salt Point Turnpike. I think it's called the fog line. But I am told by the zoning officer that the correct measurement is from the center line, not from the sideline. I forget whether it's 12 or 16 or whatever number of feet it is, because I myself was not going to stand in the middle of the Salt Point Turnpike and try and measure. You say the sign's been up for 7 years and no one's complained about it, and we hear that. I think the way to go here, and I'd like any discussion from the group, is for us to approve a sign, but conditioned on the ZEO determining the correct placement for it. Say he's determined that where it is now won't work, so it's going to have to be moved, maybe only a couple of feet or something. And it seems to me that that's something that when he should be able to work out. Does that make sense to folks?
Well, this is very, I cemented this in very well. So it is really going to be difficult for me to dig up these two posts that hold the sign in. And I measured from the white line into the sign, and it's 6 feet. But when the gentleman came out to measure it, he said, no, you don't go from the white line, you go from the edge of the blacktop. And he said I was 4.5 feet, which was still within, because I was told it had to be at least 4 feet. So I'm still 4.5 feet away. And if you pull into my neighbor's driveway with your car and you stay 10 feet before the roadway, you have a perfect view of the road and oncoming traffic. And the closer you get to the road, the more you see. But 10 feet away from the road, you have a perfect view of oncoming traffic. I don't know if you did that with your car.
I did actually, but I'm not an expert, and the ZEO is, and he has made this determination. And I traded emails with him briefly, and he thinks this can be worked out. I realize that it's sunk in concrete, but people do have chainsaws, so you might be able to move the sign back.
I don't want to cut those posts. I can, but those are old posts. This house was built in 1800, and these are the posts that were left over from this house. And I'd hate to just cut them because I can't replace those. I'd have to actually dig them up and chop off or chisel off all the concrete, you know, to move it, what, 6 inches, a foot maybe? I mean,
I hear you, but again, we have a zoning officer who's found a violation. And I am reluctant to overrule him. And it's not my call, it's up to the group, but I myself would be reluctant to overrule him on what he sees as a site distance violation. I'm aware that there was a neighbor complaint. I'm aware that, neighbors can have disputes with each other, all of that. But I don't know how we get around, a conclusion that there is a violation.
is there any way possible that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but is there any way possible that he could come back out and pull his car into the driveway and see? And, if they say, yes, I have to move it, then I'll move it, no problem.
That's exactly what I'm proposing. What I'm suggesting is that we approve the sign itself and, allow you to put it up, and that we condition that on the ZEO confirming that the new that either the existing location or a new location is appropriate. Now, it's not going to be the existing location, I don't think, because he said there's a violation, but it's going to be close. And it seems to me that you and he should be able to work that out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not like I'm close-minded or whatever, but, and if I could be here, because I didn't know he was even here. My wife was here the day the second person came out. But if I could be here, to explain it to him or whatever. And, as I said, if he says move it, I'll move it.
I think,
but I just want to take a second look at it, that's all.
You have his letter, which has his phone number and his email address. And, I think you can set up an appointment with him.
Yeah, can he get a variance?
I'm sorry?
How about a variance if it's the distance? A variance.
I suppose we could. He'd then have to go up to the ZBA.
May I make a suggestion here? I like the way Jack is approaching this, but I would also suggest that the ZEO and the highway supervisor look at this, because he looks at site distance all the time for driveways, etc. So maybe the two of them can get together with the applicant and we can follow Jack's lead on a conditional approval.
All right, but this is Salt Point Turnpike. This is DPW. This is not the town. So it got to be the DPW who's going to go out there. This is not the highway jurisdiction.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually the county.
Yep. Okay.
It's simpler to stay with the ZEO in that case, I think.
Yeah, but it's not the town highway.
No, I understand that, but since it's a violation of our zoning code and not necessarily, I have no idea whether it violates the highway department requirements, but since it's what we're concerned with is the zoning code, I think the zoning enforcement officer is sufficient from our point of view.
How does everybody feel? I feel that Jack's approach makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
Agree.
So does Tracy.
Okay, it happens.
There as well.
I have a resolution if that makes some sense.
Go ahead, Jack, that's fine.
Whereas applicant Michael Hansen seeks approval pursuant to section 250-70 for a sign at his residence at 2303 Salt Point Turnpike in the town of Clinton, long number. The sign already exists and is placed on applicant's property near the Salt Point Turnpike. It is a painted wood sign approximately 7 square feet in size, reading Hanson Homestead. While the sign has apparently been in place for a number of years, no application for approval of the sign has been submitted to the planning board until the present one. The zoning administrator of the town of Clinton, CEO, has determined that the sign in question violates 250-70C sub 11, which prohibits signs which obscure any signs displayed by a public authority, obstruct proper sight distance, or otherwise interfere with traffic or pedestrians. CEO issued a violation notice in order to remedy dated October 27, 2020, directing that the applicant submit a sign permit showing a new location 4 feet out of road right of way. Applicant has submitted a sketch showing the sign will be, I wrote down 6 feet because that's how I read your sketch, Mr. Hanson. Is you're saying it was more than 4 feet is what I'll say.
Yeah, I thought it was measured from the white line on the edge of the road, and I'm 6 feet from that. But as I said, whoever came out, they said I was 4.5 feet off the road.
Okay. The applicant submitted a sketch showing the sign will be 6 feet from the white fog line at the side of the Salt Point Turnpike. While this appears consistent with the proposed remedy in the violation notice, the CEO informs us the proper distance is to be measured from the center line on the Salt Point Turnpike, and we defer to him to confirm the new location meets the requirement. Applicant has submitted a picture of the existing sign. The planning board considers the sign to be appropriate, subject to it being relocated. The applicable fee of $125 has been paid. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby approves the application for the existing sign and directs the CEO to issue a permit subject to the CEO confirming that the proposed location meets the requirements of 250-70C11 and that the new location for the sign is more than 4 feet out of the road right of way.
Do we have a second?
Okay.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Jack, aye.
Hi, Jerry.
Art?
Aye.
Justin, aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay, Mr. Hanson, and get a hold of the CEO and see if you can resolve this with him, okay?
Okay, I don't have his number or anything. Could you possibly give that to me?
I'll
Or
talk to you, Mike, tomorrow. I'll have him.
what's that?
I'll have him contact you.
His phone number is on the violation notice also.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I will give him a call and reach out to him and meet him here just to see what he says again.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will, whatever he decides, I will abide by.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Murray site plan for the SES. Bring in Orly again, and we'll get this.
Hi, yes. Okay,
You're back.
I'm back. So would you like me to present the project again, Art?
No.
I don't think so. Tracy, do you?
Yeah, so the first question is, Arlene, have we gotten updates to all the paperwork with the correct address?
What do you mean correct address? We
Well, the
circulated
address
it.
is wrong on all the paperwork. It says their address is Clinton, and it's not. It's
Oh, no, I didn't
private.
get any, I didn't get anything. I didn't get any.
Laura Lee, did you do that?
Yes, we submitted the 2 extra copies and we had corrected everything on those 2 extra copies, but I can send that over to you electronically, Arlene, if that's.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you didn't send me the paper copy. You only send me the one to be circulated.
Yes, the two extra applications, yes, okay.
Yeah.
So we need, so we're gonna need an updated short environmental assessment form with the correct address on it.
Okay, yep, I have
Okay.
that. I
Yep,
have that for you.
okay.
Yep,
And then it's gotta be corrected on the map, on the site plan.
yes, yep, I have it corrected on the
Okay,
entire application, yeah.
all right, so I'm just gonna make that a condition
Okay,
and just move ahead. But you won't get it, you won't get your stuff signed until that's all been filed. You know what I
okay,
mean?
yeah, I can resend all of that information over. Do you want it in a paper copy or
Yeah,
a
paper copy,
electronic?
because it needs to be signed. It needs
Yeah,
to be
it's
signed by the
it's
chairman.
whatever Arlene says we need.
Yes.
Okay, so I can drop another one of those off to you. Yeah, the two
No,
additional
give
applications.
me 2 copies, because, or 3 copies, whatever, because the chairman needs to sign, and then I keep 2 copies and whatever copies you need to keep, so.
Okay, we did drop off the other 2 copies.
I circulated it. Remember, those
Gotcha.
are for the agency. I need the town copy.
Okay, so 3 more.
Yes.
Okay, I will get those over to you ASAP. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, and then secondly, Arlene, did we get any response back from
No.
anybody?
Nothing.
Okay. So then, Art, I think we can just go ahead and do the short form.
Yep.
Part 1, yes?
Hold on, I'm sorry. The CAC, they did not meet yet because she was away for the holiday, and so I think they're supposed to meet this week, so.
Mm,
For the CAC. Now, unless you just want to put a condition about the CAC.
what do you think about that, Art?
Well, I don't want to hold the applicant.
Conditional.
I don't think it's a big deal.
You
I
just
think
do
this is-
conditional if they have any comments.
48-acre parcel, and you can't see it from any place. So I really, that's just my opinion, folks.
So you're thinking I could just make it a condition?
Yeah.
That there aren't any objections raised by the CAC?
Exactly.
That sounds good.
All right, hang on.
Okay, Trace, you can go ahead with that.
All right, wait, I'm just writing, Art, hang on.
Okay.
Okay, when's their meeting again?
I don't know. I think sometime this week. So I don't know. It's
Okay.
exact date.
All right, so I'm just gonna say December. Okay, so I'm just gonna read this part 1, correct?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah, okay. So does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? No. Does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? No. The total acreage of the site of the proposed action is 48.8 acres. The total acreage to be physically disturbed is less than 1 acre. The total acres owned or controlled by the applicant or the sponsor says less than 0. I think that's a mistake. I think it's supposed to be 48.8, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that should be,
Yeah, okay.
I believe, 48.8.
Okay, all land uses that occur on or are adjoining or near the proposed action. Urban, rural, forest, agricultural, and residential.
I think you can scratch out urban.
Yeah, that seems a little. I don't think it should be- okay. All right.
This is the part that we
Doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, I was just thinking
I
that.
think there's a shorter section at the end, with just some.
Yeah.
It's usually yes or no. It's usually yes or no, right?
Yeah, so I have part 1, I guess. I don't have part 2.
At the end, yeah.
I just assumed this is the one we needed to go through. All right. So is there a part 2 somewhere?
Yeah, hold on. It looks like I'm going to be reading it.
I don't have a part 2.
Maybe Arlene can just read it to us and you
Okay.
can answer the questions, orally.
Sounds good.
So we're doing a virtual, so this is going to be different than Art. You're going to be signing it, I guess, when I see you. All right, ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, part 2, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No, moderate.
No.
No.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use of intensity of use of land? No, moderate.
No.
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristic that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for a mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No, right? Because it's decreasing the amount of energy taken in from outside.
Right.
Correct.
Will the proposed action impact existing A, public/private water use supplies, B, public-private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
No for A and B, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, that is, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
There it is. You could do the neg deck.
I'd like to make a resolution that we declare a negative declaration on this short form EAF.
Very second.
You have a second?
Very second.
Discussion? All in favor?
This is-
Aye.
Whoop.
Sorry.
Yeah, aye.
Tracy, I.
Justin, I.
Jerry, I.
Okay, so moved.
Paul, okay. I just had a question, but I didn't vote yet, but for the
Go ahead, Paul.
applicant, the neighbor mentioned some clearing that was done. I was just curious about what that was.
I don't know of any clearing that was actually done.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there wasn't any need to clear trees or anything to put this in?
not that I know of. Nope.
Okay. Paul, thank you. It would have changed the,
Sure, yeah.
situation. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
No, we're not done. You still have to do the resolution. That's just a negative declaration.
Yeah. Okay.
yep.
All right. So we're done with that?
Yep. You're good
Okay.
to go.
Okay, so I'd like to make a resolution. The Town of Clinton Planning Board grants conditional approval of a site plan and special permit to allow installation of a ground-mounted solar electrical system on the property of Tanya Murray, 359 Mountain View Road, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572, tax grid 3314720 in an AR zoning district. Whereas the applicant wishes to install a small-scale residential ground-mounted solar electrical system in the center of a 48.8 acre parcel. There will be 2 arrays with a total of 72 solar panels for a total of 24.84 kilowatts and 20 kilowatt AC. Each array will consist of 36 solar panels and be 653.5 square feet for a total of 1307 square feet. The arrays will be stationary, non-articulating, and at the tallest part of the array will be 9 feet 8 inches tall. The arrays will be surrounded by dense wooded growth of evergreens and hardwoods and not visible by anyone. The square footage of the main dwelling is 1,700 square feet. The property is in an agricultural district. The Town of Clinton Planning Board declared itself lead agency on November 17th, 2020 for this unlisted, uncoordinated action. Appropriate referrals to the interested agencies were sent out. In accordance with section 250-96B3 of the Town of Clinton zoning law, a public hearing has been held on December 1st, 2020. A short form EAF was provided. The seeker review of this unlisted, uncoordinated action has resulted in a negative declaration being declared in accordance with the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act on December 1st, 2020. This application conforms with the provisions of section 250-96 of the Town of Clinton zoning law pertaining to site plans. The site plan has been prepared by Suncommon Incorporated, dated October 5th, 2020. There's a letter of authorization on file for Suncommon and Laura Lee Reedy to act on behalf of the applicant. All appropriate fees have been paid. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town of Clinton Planning Board is going to grant conditional approval of the requested site plan and special permit. The conditions being that all of the paperwork in the file will have the address of the property corrected to state Rhinebeck, New York, changed from Clinton. Also that there aren't any large concerns raised by the CAC after their December meeting this week.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second, Jack. Sorry.
Discussion.
It's Paul, just a couple minor things. So I think it's just site plan, not special permit.
Oh, it's not?
No.
It's not for the smaller ones. It's
okay.
bigger ones they want. That's the special permit. So it's just site plan. And then
Okay.
I just, the only other thing I throw out, the solar law says, there shall be screening, with fences and berms and stuff. We've determined that we don't need any of that. And you've made that clear in the resolution that, it's naturally screened. I'm just wondering if we want to just say, because of the way the law is worded, the planning board has determined that, fencing and other forms of screening are not required given the siting of the,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That we're just saying,
Yep.
we decided that provision isn't necessary.
Fencing and other screening
Other forms of screening
is not required
are not required given
on this site.
given the proposed location of on the site. Sure.
On this site.
Given the natural screening that exists or something like that.
Okay. Okay. Given the natural screening that's already exists. Given the natural
Given
screening.
the site. I'm having an off night. I'm sorry. Given.
No, that's good. Now
Yeah, just given the way it's set.
Yeah.
Okay, so the planning board, how am I gonna word this? Fencing and screening is not required on this site, given the natural screening that already exists.
That sounds good.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, any further discussion?
Can you add another fee about the publication fees for the public hearing, Trace?
What?
I have to collect the fees for the publication fees for the public hearing.
I said that all appropriate fees have been
Yeah,
paid,
but
so
you
I
didn't
should
put
put
it
that
as
as a condition.
You gotta put it as
Okay.
condition.
So that's moving to conditions.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Okay, all in favor?
Jack, I.
Jerry, aye.
Tracy, I.
Paul,
Sarah, I.
Did everybody, I didn't hear Jerry.
Jerry, aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so moved. You're all set?
Hey, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Just get that paperwork to Arlene and I'll sign what I need to sign and you're good to go.
Okay, sounds good. I'll try and get that to you tomorrow. Thank you so
Hold
much.
on, can you make sure it says site plan, just Murray site plan for a ground mounted, and the revised
On the
date,
top?
whatever. It's like the name of the map, the title.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sure. On the top of the forms.
Yes.
Okay.
Site plan for Mary for ground mounted solar.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the demo for BCDE, the family LP. Can we bring those folks back in because they got the next two items?
You're here.
We're here, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Jacob and Doug are here, yeah.
Okay, we know what you want to do. Justin, you want to go through anything with the applicants?
I mean, we spent a lot of time on this last time. I think there are 3 steps tonight. We're going to do the a secret declaration, right, first, and that's going to be on both the wetlands permit and the demolition permit. Then we'll move to the demolition permit, and then we can do the wetlands permit, if that makes sense for everyone. I think we should just get the secret out of the way, and then we can do demolition. We'll just go in order.
Yes,
Okay.
logical.
So just to recap for folks, I mean, we have a letter from the town engineer that the disturbances are going to be pretty minimal. The house is already in the wetlands buffer. The demolition that's happening, there's going to be a shed moved out of the wetlands buffer and to create a new pool house where this A-frame house is now. It's not in the wetlands buffer, but it'll be built there. And basically the house that's being built is all within like kind of a square confines of what's already there. So with that in mind, I'll do the SECRA short form part 2. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a CEA? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in traffic or mass transit, biking, walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in use of energy and fails to incorporate alternatives? No. Will the proposed action impact existing water supplies or wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Say no or small impact. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will it create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Any comments on that? Otherwise, I'll go into a motion to do a negative declaration.
Go ahead. Yep.
All right. Whereas the Town of Clinton Planning Board declared itself lead agency pursuant to SECRA for the uncoordinated environmental review of the BCDE wetlands, BCDE Family LP Wetlands and Demolitions Permit, and held a public hearing on December 1st, 2020. Whereas the Town of Clinton engineer has reviewed the permit application submitted to the NYSDEC and recommends the planning board adopt a negative declaration prior to conditionally approving the application for the following reasons. One, the NYSDEC will review and issue a work permit for the work within the 100-foot wetlands buffer. Two, the site is primarily already developed within the existing wetlands, within the existing buffer. Three, new sewage disposal systems will be reviewed and approved by the County Department of Health that will locate the disposal system serving any of the habitable buildings outside of the wetlands buffer. Now therefore be it resolved, based upon the information and analysis in the short environmental assessment form and the recommendation of the town engineer, the Town of Clinton Planning Board has determined that the proposed action does not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. And be it further resolved, the Town of Clinton Planning Board hereby issues a negative declaration pursuant to the requirements of SECRA and in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law.
Second, Jerry.
Second, discussion. All in favor, Art, aye.
Jack, aye.
Justin, I.
Sarah, I.
Jerry, I.
Okay, so moved.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the demolitions permit, and I wanted to just ask a couple kind of technical questions for my resolution. Can Doug or Jacob, can you confirm that there's no structure that appears on any kind of like historic survey, and that the A-frame, it doesn't have any national, state, or local designation of significance?
No, we're not aware of any designation for the A-frame. It was built around 1960 from what we can tell. It is not of historical significance.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And Arlene, are there any outstanding fees in relation to the demolition permit? Have they been paid, or is that a condition?
Oh, did you send me $90 for the demo?
Okay, yeah, just let us know whatever. So $90 for the demo.
Yes.
I think we might have lost Doug, but I think he's trying to get back in.
Okay, just send me $90 for the demolition plan approval. Justin,
Okay.
We did the SECRA for the wetlands, right? But you didn't do the resolution for the wetlands permit yet, right? Just the neg deck.
Right.
We did a negative. That negative declaration was for wetlands and demolition.
Okay, all right.
I just made it one single resolution. Is that fine?
Wait, what do you mean? You did issue the resolution for the wetlands permit too?
Not yet, no.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
SECRA, right? Both the wetlands permit and the demolition require SECRA.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yes, okay,
So the SECRA is a joint approval for both of those permits.
gotcha, okay.
Okay. Does anyone have questions on the demolitions? The application was complete. They had all the items required in the statute. They had all the required items on the checklist. It's this A-frame house, right, which is outside of the buffer. That's getting bulldozed. It's going to become a pool house. And I believe that the starting structure for the pool house is the shed that's being moved out of the wetlands buffer. Is that right, Jacob?
That is correct. And, we were referred to John, the ZBA, and there's still some ongoing discussion, but it does appear that we would need the planning board's referral to the ZBA planning board for the accessory count, the number of accessory structures, unless we do, I guess, agricultural element here, and perhaps even for the relocation of the shed due to the number of accessory structures. So I don't know if that could be part of tonight's discussion, or that there would be a role for us to apply with the ZBA for that component.
This is Jerry. I don't think the accessory count changes.
It doesn't. No, it does not. The accessory count does remain the same, or technically could be reduced by one if you consider, as it was mentioned, that a pool house and pool count as one accessory item. And if that was the case, we would be reducing the count of accessory structures. Also, we are removing an accessory dwelling as well from the property.
So,
Jerry, I think because right now they have 4, right? How many structures do you have total, Jacob?
We
3.
have a total of 9
Oh,
structures,
what, 9. So, and
but
you're
that's
allowed
including
3.
the main house.
Okay,
And that's whether or not, I'm not sure if the dock, that's also included, and I'm not sure if that needs to be included as
okay.
well.
Excuse me for a second. I think we're getting off topic here. We're trying to get the demolition resolution done. Let's follow some order here so we're drifting off, okay?
yes, yeah. So I mean, I think for Jacob's, I think you're right, Art, right? For Jacob's benefit, I think you want the demolition permit. I think you want the wetlands permit. And if you have other issues, right, that you need to come back before us, I think you would submit a new permit. We can't add things in tonight
Okay.
that you may or may not need. So I'd take these 2 things and then come back as needed.
Okay, great.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions on the demo permit? Okay,
Okay, so be it resolved, the Town of Clinton Planning Board recommends approval of the demolition permit application dated November 2nd, 2020, submitted by Douglas Larson of Larson Architecture Works PLLC on behalf of BCDE Family LP for the purpose of demolishing an accessory dwelling located on an 80 parcel lot, at 191 to 195 East Meadowbrook Lane in the town of Clinton, parcel number, and refers the matter to the building inspector for review and approval of a demolition plan to be submitted by the applicant. Whereas the accessory dwelling was built in or about the 1960s, the structure does not appear on the Historic Resource Survey of 1986 located on Dutchess County parcel access. The applicant states that the structure does not have any national, state, or local designation of significance, nor are there any for the parcel on which it is located. The applicant states that the building is planned for demolition to make room for a new pool and pool house. The applicant will submit a demolition plan to the building inspector for his review and approval prior to commencing any work at the site. A completed environmental assessment form has been submitted. The planning board has reviewed the application, which includes all the items required under section 250-93 of the zoning law and listed on the demolition permit checklist, and determined that the building has no historic value. The town of Clinton has received a consent of authorization to act for Doug Larson to appear at the planning board on behalf of the applicant BCDE Family LP. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Clinton Planning Board recommends approval of the demolition permit application and refers the matter to the building inspector for further action consistent with the town zoning law, conditioned on the payment of all appropriate fees.
Second.
discussion? All in favor, Art, aye.
Jack, aye.
Jerry, I.
Tracy,
Sarah,
aye.
I.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay. Next is the wetland
Yep.
permit.
So I know that last time we spoke, we were kind of figuring out if we would be first or the DEC would be first. Is this still, you're still seeking a conditional approval because DEC has not approved it yet?
You asking us, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything from the DEC. They've had it for a couple months. So we don't know how long it's going to take. So we just thought
Yeah, no, understood. I just want to make sure I know what I'm putting in the motion. And Arlene, any fees are due here? Have they paid their fees?
I need the public hearing fees.
You need
Okay,
a-
and what is that amount, Arlene?
I don't know yet. I'll let you know because I'm
Okay,
waiting for
great.
the Poughkeepsie Journal invoice.
Okay, yeah, so you can just send it to me via email.
Okay, sorry. Again, I don't want to cut the conversation short if people have questions or want to talk about it, but we did spend a lot of time last time on the wetlands permit. The town engineer has reviewed it, right? Made basically a positive recommendation for us. Yeah, this is a good picture. Oh, sorry, go back. Right, the main house is that building in the center left of the screen. And right, and they're tweaking some of the walls and the movements in there, and the building on top.
Last page has the drawings.
Oh, you have yeah. I don't know. If anyone doesn't have any questions, I have a motion ready because I think we've talked about this one ad nauseum at this point.
I'm good to go with the motion, Justin.
So,
Okay.
Justin, so the wetlands permit is just for the renovation of this building or in this building too?
The wetlands permit is for 4 things: to increase the existing house footprint. It's to relocate the existing shed, right, which is the building to the top left, no left. Yeah, that tiny one, right? That one's going to be moved. That one's going to be moved down to the little one below it. Yep, that one's being demolished. So the little shed will be moved there outside of the area. They're going to trench a new septic line, and they're going to install related landscaping. So those are the 4. And Jacob and Doug, is that right? Those are the 4 parts of the wetlands permit?
Yes. Sounds right, yes.
So do you think we should wait for the Board of Health approval first and the DEC?
Wait for what, Arlene?
The Board of Health approval, are they doing we're doing the septic,
Well,
right?
I think all of this is going to be conditional on the Board of Health and the DEC.
That's what I'm saying. So the building department can issue those building, the renovation building permit and everything till you get all your approval.
That's right, we're aware of that. Yes.
Okay, so I'll make sure.
Yep, so that'll be a condition, and that was in the town engineer's recommendation that the Board of Health is going to require them to do it outside of the 100-foot buffer. And so I think if we condition it on Board of Health approval, right, that should get us the septic issue. Is that right, Arlene?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the only thing is, for you to move this one in here, you're in the buffer, you're demolishing it, right? This building?
No, we would pick that up. You hire a house mover to pick it up.
All right, so I think it could move forward. I think we could issue a building permit. That's what I'm saying. You got to chunk it up for the building.
No, you can't. It's conditional on DEC approval.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
you mean you have
Everything's
to wait
conditional.
for everything then before
Yes.
you could even file a building permit? Okay, all right, that sounds better.
Well, we can't do anything. We can apply for things outside the buffer, but not inside the buffer.
Yeah.
What about the demolition for the A-frame?
Yeah, that can go. That's fine.
That's outside the buffer. Right?
Yes, okay, that's over there, the other side. Okay, all right.
I think
Yeah,
we're in good
but-
shape, Arlene. We're good.
The 4 activities, right, within the buffer are all conditional, right, on the approvals.
If you could just spell that on the resolution, this way for the building department,
Yeah.
This is a pretty good resolution, Arlene. I think it's all spelled out.
I know, Justin.
Go for it, Justin.
I'm sure it's
All
excellent.
right. All right. Resolution of the Planning Board of the Town of Clinton for approval of the BCDE, let's say for the conditional approval of the BCDE Family LP Wetlands Permit. Whereas BCDE Family LP has applied for a wetlands permit on an 80-acre site in an AR3 zoning district at 191 to 195 East Meadowbrook Lane in the town of Clinton, parcel number, application and site plan prepared by Douglas Larson of Larson Architecture Works, PLLC. And whereas the town of Clinton has received a consent of authorization to act for Doug Larson to appear at the planning board on behalf of the applicant BCDE Family LP. And whereas the applicant seeks to, Romanet 1, increase the existing house footprint for new expansions in a new terrace. 2, relocate an existing shed outside of the controlled area. 3, trench a new septic line. And 4, install related landscaping as described in the submitted application. And whereas section 250-78 of the town of Clinton zoning law provides that an applicant must submit for planning board review and approval a proposed site plan in connection with a wetlands permit, and such site plan has been submitted. Whereas a completed short form environmental assessment form has been submitted, the planning board declared itself lead agency for this unlisted uncoordinated action, and the planning board issued a negative declaration for purposes of Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law on December 1st, 2020, whereas the planning board has considered the items enumerated in section 250-78G of the town code, whereas the planning board has concluded that the proposed regulated activity is consistent with the town's policy to preserve, protect, and conserve wetland, watercourse, and water body functions and the benefits derived therefrom. Whereas the requested permit for the proposed regulated activity is at least as restrictive as would result under application of the Freshwater Wetlands Act of the State of New York, Environmental Conservation Law, section 224-0501 et sec. And whereas the planning board has concluded that with respect to the specific facts of this application, the public health and safety will not be threatened by the proposed action, whereas the proposed regulated activity cannot practically be relocated on site to eliminate or reduce the intrusion into wetland, watercourse, or water body, or the controlled areas adjacent thereto. And whereas the wetlands permit is otherwise in compliance with the requirements of the town of Clinton zoning law and consistent with the town of Clinton comprehensive plan, now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby grants conditional approval of the requested permit conditioned upon 1, payment of all applicable fees, 2, approval of the permit by the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, and 3, Board of Health approval for trenching of the new septic system.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you. The CAC, we include the CAC, right? They did not review this yet.
You want me to add the same thing that
I'm
Tracy
sure
added?
they're gonna say something because of the wetlands.
Yeah, why don't you add the same thing we did with Trace?
Tracy, can you just tell me what you put in your email? I'll just copy it in mine, if you remember. Okay, I'll put a placeholder in here for it. Review and approval by the CAC at their December meeting. So
Second,
moved.
second.
Sorry, sorry, Justin. So what I said was also that there aren't any large concerns raised by the CAC after their December meeting.
All right, no. Okay, that's in there too. So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Is there a discussion or is Art?
I was waiting if Justin's okay. You're okay to move ahead?
Yep, I've got it. Yeah, discussion.
Okay, good.
Second,
We have a
Second.
second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
Go
ahead.
I was just going to ask, as a practical matter, when does this? It's a conditional approval. It gets signed. It goes to the building inspector, Arlene. I'm just wondering about the logistics of getting the DEC approval and the Board of Health approval. Who gets those and who reads those? And who makes a decision that it's okay to go forward?
Well, once they receive the Department of Health, we get the copy, the building department get the copy,
Okay.
Board of Health approval. With regards to the DEC, I mean, they're the one who apply it. So they will get a copy, they have to give us a copy. Once we
Okay.
have all those, then we could move forward with the building permit.
And a copy of DEC approval and
Board of Health.
Board of Health should go to Peter. Our
You want
engineer.
Peter to review?
He should get a
That's a
copy
really,
of that.
that's kind of where I was going. Like, should we have somebody look at it to make, what if they put conditions in there or
Right. Well,
issues that need to be addressed? That's all.
Right.
So
Agreed.
maybe we could put the condition about sign off from
Our
The-
town
Tara, town engineer, before we could move forward, to make sure that everything on the checklist is checked off.
How
Just,
about this? Copies of DEC permit and Board of Health approval to be submitted to Town of Clinton Planning Board and the town engineer for his comments. How's that sound?
Yeah,
That makes sense?
prior to issuance of the building
Yeah.
permit. Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to do a fifth condition. Copies of the DEC permit and Board of Health approval to be submitted to Town of Clinton Planning Board and Town Engineer for comments prior to issuance of a building permit.
Good. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Art, aye.
Jack, aye.
All I.
Sarah, I.
Justin, I.
Okay, so moved. Okay. So we've completed everything on the agenda for these applicants for tonight.
Could I, sorry to interrupt.
Well,
Would it be
finish.
okay to continue our sorry.
Before, I think at our last meeting, didn't we suggest that that the applicant, when they're going to build a pool here, that they should have some discussions with the ZEO on the number of dwellings we have on this property, because there's a lot. I believe we spoke about that the last time.
Yeah, yes, that's what I was going to bring up. I thought you were closing the meeting. I wanted to see if we could continue that discussion. Is now the okay time to do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we reached out to John Fenton, and Jacobs had a lot of exchanges with him by email mostly. He wanted to communicate in writing. So I think this is where we ended up, that we have a non-conforming amount of accessory structures on this property. And we can't increase the degree of non-conformity. It's a little complicated, but I think we don't want to have a net add of any accessory structure. So if we remove one, we could add the pool. But we also have the plumbing issue. So the A-frame is a dwelling and has plumbing in it, and the shed does not. So we'd have a net, if we put plumbing in the shed as a pool house, we also have a net zero swap of buildings with plumbing in them. However, I think John indicated that moving the shed would need a variance, because there's a section in the zoning code which says that you cannot move a non-conforming, something non-conforming to another portion of the property. So is that right, Jacob? Is that how we ended with John?
Yeah, that's my understanding, and it's considered use, which could have different interpretations, but I think, and I still want a definitive answer, but the next step might be to apply for a building permit to get rejected, but we would need to go to the ZBA, and I'm not sure what variances need to be pulled for that ZBA. John would have to look at the application to see what variances are needed. But
So I think our email exchanges ended with just apply for it so that we can reject you and send you to the ZBA, but we didn't know if he meant apply to you folks or apply to the building inspector.
No,
Does the planning board have the ability to send us to the ZBA, or do we need to go through the building
well,
inspector?
we have to find out whether you need a variance or not, and that is the ZEO's job to let us know.
Well, he's already told us that. Does he?
So the process is you have to fill out a building permit. The building permit gets denied by the ZEO, and that denial is your ticket to go to the ZBA. The ZBA is a two-step process. You go to the planning board for recommendation, and you go to the ZBA for a final say. But your first step is building permit.
Okay, that's clear.
So we can't do anything until we get an application or from the ZEO. He may say you need a variance. He may not say you do. I think you got to continue this discussions with him because we really can't move ahead on anything unless we get the appropriate paperwork, applications, etc. Okay?
Right, of course. We just didn't know what that process was. So
That's,
now we do. So we'll send it to him, and I will be seeing more of you folks.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Okay.
well, we
Oh, no,
appreciate.
I'm sorry.
time.
Doug, you cannot
Yes.
demolish the A-frame yet. You still have to file a demolition permit to the building department, okay?
I think we're going to hold on to it because we need it to maintain our degree of nonconformity.
Okay,
Right? If we
all right,
demolish it, we're going to lose one structure.
all right.
So I think we will hold on the building permit to demolish it and instead apply for the pool in the pool house and get denied and come to you and then the ZBA and then, okay.
That's exactly right. You don't want to lose one of your structures.
So
Well,
we'll table that building permit on that and we'll come back to you after we go through John.
right. That's the way to go.
Okay, great. That's very clear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And
Thank you.
You've got your 2 permits now, so we'll see you in the future.
That's it. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, folks, is our illustrious town board member here tonight?
I guess no, I don't see him.
Okay,
No name.
okay. Does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about?
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Ag events public hearing is next Tuesday. So I'm sure you have something to say about that, comments and everything. It's a big thing, you know, we're gonna have all this Airbnb and ag events. We're gonna be busy.
Have we gotten any indication of when we're going to start getting Airbnb applications that we're going to have to sift
Well,
through?
they're talking about the fee schedule right now. And so I think they're gonna approve that next town board meeting, which is Tuesday. And I guess, but they have this 6 months for anybody who's operating Airbnb. They have 6 months to file the permit. So
So, yeah, to answer your question, we're going to get them all in 5.5 months.
Exactly.
Hey, you get a break.
You're
When is
right,
our term up?
Paul.
That's a good question. By
Yeah.
the way, I'm sorry, you got to make sure that you sign up for your training hours. There are webinars there and everything. You know, like a couple of the ZBA members registered for the webinars for the Dutchess County Planning, and the town issued the training hours certificate. Otherwise, all of you are going to get fired.
Yeah, that's a good question though. I didn't, because usually they're in person, but we haven't done them this year. So how do we do them?
Webinars. So you just make sure you will receive something from, about your attendance and everything. So you send me what you have.
How do we? How do
Are there
we?
webinars available between now and December 31st?
Jack, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Will you be circulating a schedule of what webinars are coming up so we can sign up if we have
I
to?
thought you normally are getting something from the Dutchess County Planning. The zoning board are all getting straight emails from the Dutchess County. You're not getting anything?
Not getting anything.
All right, I'm gonna register you guys.
Yeah, I don't get anything either.
I
Yeah.
thought I was registered, but I haven't received anything from them all week.
Email?
I spoke to them and I tried to register, but I asked her to put me on, but it didn't happen.
And some of them are working remotely too, so all right, well, I'm gonna tell them, yeah, because a couple of the ZBA members, they have it, they got it, so, and they attended, so. All right,
Okay,
well, back to ag events. Please review it, because once the law is passed, it's passed.
okay, anything else, folks? No? Okay, everybody did a great job tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. See you next
Motion to adjourn, and I'm not Norma.
time.
Oh, Norma, no wonder why. I thought I was like, is Norma right? I didn't even realize. I thought Norma's trying to.
I have the wrong computer.
Okay, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I just did that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. All in favor?
Gracie, I.
Hi, Jerry.
Okay. Night, folks.
Good night, all.
Night.
Yeah, good job, everybody.